Our top focus as of now, Europe is taking steps to prepare for a harsh winter in the midst of an energy crisis. Russia has said that it will not supply gas to Europe till sanctions are lifted. And in response, Germany has decided to keep 2 nuclear power plants on standby. Despite having vowed to stop using nuclear energy by 2022, meanwhile, France and Germany have said that they will help each other with their energy needs. Germany has said that it is still going to go through with its plan to move away from nuclear energy by December 31st this year. However, as a precaution, 2 of the 3 nuclear reactors that are shutting down will be kept on standby mode till mid-April next year.
They do not consume fuel. Burning would continue to be suspended. But of course, they remain operational, that is what is meant. So we are not going to lock up, everybody goes home and we wait and see what happens. Rather, I said, at this time for the winter, the staff and all the safety precautions will remain in place and maintained, so that they could be started up again if necessary.
Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron announced that France was ready to provide Germany with gas, and Germany has agreed to send electricity to France if required. The announcement came after Macron had a phone call with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz.
We will finalize in the coming weeks the necessary gas connections so that we can export gas to Germany if there is a need for solidarity and each time there is a need for it. Today, already for the first time in a long while, France exports gas toward the eastern part of Europe. We will reinforce this and put ourselves in a situation of being in solidarity with Germany in terms of gas if the winter becomes hard and Germany needs it.
Macron further said that France would support a European Commission plan to put a price cap on Russian gas. He said it would be in line with France's sanctions policy and it would help reduce energy bills.
First, we are in favor of practices of common gas purchases. This will allow Europe to buy for cheaper by buying together. And so, we will continue to act, and I believe I can say that German Chancellor Scholz shares this vision. We have talked about it, to concretely act based on what we have decided on a European level.
And for more inputs, joining us now is Trent Murray, our correspondent from Berlin. Trent, thanks for joining us on this broadcast. My first question, how severe is the energy crisis in Europe as of now? Are all these standby measures, so to speak, going to help it sail through the winter months?
Well, I think it is an extraordinary government U-turn, if you will, to delay the closure of these nuclear power plants, because the bigger picture in all of this is that this is a policy which has been in place for 10 years. It was former Chancellor Angela Merkel back in 2011 in the wake of the Fukushima nuclear disaster that made the announcement that Germany would do away with all of its nuclear power plants by the year 2020. There were 17 power plants at the time of that announcement. As you said, there are now only 3 remaining, and they were due to be switched off in December. But what we have heard overnight is this announcement that only 1 of them will be switched off, the site in Lower Saxony. 2 more will be kept in emergency reserve, the one in Bavaria and the one in Baden-Württemberg. Now, the government is insisting that they will be disconnected from the grid. They will only be kept there for emergency use only. But nevertheless, it is a major U-turn on decades worth of policy. And of course, it is worth noting the man announcing that, Robert Habeck, the Vice-Chancellor, he is from the Green Party, and the Green Party has its origins in Germany as an anti-nuclear party dating all the way back to the 1980s. So for him to be doing this just shows how dire the situation is becoming for Europe's energy security.
Right, absolutely, Trent. We're also hearing of France and Germany saying they will help each other with energy needs in particular. Tell us about this new alliance and how it will pan out.
Yeah, well, and I think this is a very important sign of the solidarity that is trying to be shown, at least, between Europe's 2 biggest countries. Now, while Germany is doing away with nuclear, France is going in the opposite direction. It has a lot of nuclear power plants and it wants to build more. And so I think the thinking over the winter is, if there is excess electricity available in France, France will try to send it to Germany. vice versa, if there's additional gas supplies here that Germany can help with. I think also really important to note, France has got LNG infrastructure, liquefied natural gas, meaning it can take deliveries from places like Qatar or the United States. Germany doesn't have that infrastructure in place yet, so with Russia throttling supplies to Germany, France has essentially signalled, hey, look, we may be able to take some deliveries on your behalf here in France at our coastal infrastructure on a Qatari or American ship and then send it up the pipeline to you if you need it. There's a lot of moving pieces in all of this, but the big picture overall is real concerns about blackouts and energy shortages over the winter. And so you are seeing European politicians and the industry as a whole doing everything they can to try and avoid energy shortages, especially for households.
Absolutely. Trent, thank you so much for all those inputs. Thanks for joining us on WION World is One at this hour. WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.